Hi students, welcome to lesson number 19 on National Policy for Scheduled Caste. A brief introduction for the lesson. Scheduled castes constitute the most deprived and oppressed section of Indian society. Historically, they have experienced extreme form of exploitation, degradation and inhuman treatment. For centuries, they were subjected to barbaric treatment of untouchability and were forced to live in abject misery and poverty. The untouchability features in the caste system is one of the cruelest feature of the caste system. It is seen by many as one of the strongest racist phenomena in the world. It was only during the freedom movement that a serious human concern was displayed by our national leaders to improve their socio-economic condition. The Constitution of Free India ended all sorts of discrimination based on religion, caste, creed or race. The slavish practice of untouchability was also abolished. The erstwhile untouchables and members of lower castes were raised to the status of free and equal citizens of the land. Besides that, they were also conferred with the constitutional status of scheduled caste. Various safeguards were provided in the constitution for the protection and upliftment of this caste. And the objectives of this lesson is that this lesson will help the students to acquaint with the important aspects related to the policies and development of scheduled caste. Now, who are scheduled caste and what is scheduled caste? Scheduled caste is basically a constitutional concept. The term scheduled caste was coined and used by the British government for legal and administrative purposes. The Constitution of India further standardized and adopted the term in April 1936. The British government issued an order specifying certain castes, races and tribes, communities earlier known as depressed classes, as scheduled caste. This was applicable to the then provinces of Assam, Bengal, Bihar, Bombay Central and Berar, Madras, Orissa, Punjab and United Provinces. These castes, races and tribes were socially and economically depressed. They were listed in the schedule so far as to ascertain their accurate numbers. The purpose was also to provide special benefits to them through legislative and executive means. Depressed classes, according to the 1931 census report, were identified on the basis of the denial of services of Brahmins, barbers, water carriers, tailors and so on. Denial of the use of Hindu temples and public conveyances such as roads, ferries, wells or schools. In addition to these, there was the criterion of pollution by contact, by virtue of which these castes for races were labelled as untouchables. Articles 341 and 342 of the Constitution of India define as to who would be scheduled caste with respect to any state or union territory. Now, let us understand the relevant constitutional provisions meant for scheduled caste. And the first one is Article 341(1), wherein the President may, with respect to any state or union territory and where it is a state after constitution with the governor thereof, by public notification specify the caste, races or tribes or parts of or groups within caste, races of tribes which shall be for the purposes of this constitution be deemed to be scheduled caste in relation to that state or union territory as the case may be. Article 341(2), wherein the Parliament may by law include in or exclude from the list of scheduled castes specified in a notification issued under clause 1 any caste, race or part or group within any caste, race or tribe, but save as aforesaid a notification issued under the said clause shall not be varied by any subsequent notification. In the Constitutional Scheduled Caste Order 1950 as amended from time to time, it has been mentioned that no person professing a religion different from Hindu or Sikh religion can be deemed to be a member of scheduled caste. There is, however, no religious bar for being treated as scheduled tribe. Reservation at present is provided on the basis of caste or tribe only. Recently, the reservation benefits have also been extended to those scheduled castes who have later on changed their religion and profess Buddhism or Christianity. The interstate area restrictions have been imposed so that the person belonging or the people belonging to a specific community residing in a specific area which has been assessed to qualify for the scheduled caste or tribe status may benefit only from the facilities provided for them. Since the people belonging to the same caste but living in different states and union territories may not necessarily suffer from the same disabilities. It is possible that two persons belonging to the same caste but residing in different states, union territories may not be treated as belonging to scheduled castes, scheduled tribes or vice versa. Thus, the residence of a particular person in a particular locality assumes a special significance. This residence has not to be understood in the literally ordinary sense of the word. Rather, it connotes the permanent residence of a person on the date of the notification of the parliamentary order scheduling his caste or tribe in relation to that locality. Now, we will understand the constitutional safeguards meant for scheduled caste. In pursuance of the recognition of scheduled caste as vulnerable group, the Constitution has incorporated certain provisions and safeguards for the protection and upliftment of scheduled caste, and they are also followed in the directive principles of state policy in the Constitution of India under the directive principles of state policy. Article 46 comprehensively comprises both the developmental and the regulatory aspects. First one, there is Article 46. The Article 46 reads as that the state shall promote with special care the educational and economic interests of the weaker sections of the people and in particular of scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes and shall protect them from social injustice and all forms of exploitation. Second, social safeguards. Article 17 of the Constitution abolishes untouchability and forbids its practice in any form. Next is Article 23, which prohibits traffic in human beings and forced labour or beggar. Bonded labour is an extreme form of forced labour and majority of bonded labourers belong to the scheduled caste. Article 24 prohibits child labour. Again, a good proportion of child labourers also belongs to scheduled caste. Under Article 25(2)(b), scheduled castes have access to all temples of any sect. Article 15A provides for removable any disability restriction or condition with regard to access in shops, restaurants, tanks, bathing ghats, roads, places of public convenience and so on. Educational safeguards under Article 15(4), wherein special provisions have been made for education advancement of scheduled caste, and these provisions exist in the form of reservation of seats in educational institutions and scholarships. Article 29(2) in general safeguards access to educational institutions maintained by the state or those receiving grants out of state funds. Economic safeguards. The Constitution also enjoins the state to promote with special care the economic interests of scheduled castes and protect them from social justice and all forms of exploitation. Political safeguards under Article 330, 332 and 334 of the Constitution provide for special representation of scheduled caste candidates in Lok Sabha and state Vidhan Sabhas. The period of political reservation was initially conceived for 10 years. However, it has been repeatedly extended at intervals of 10 years. Next, it is service safeguards, and under Article 16(4) provides for reservations in services in favour of persons of backward classes which are inadequately represented therein. You may please also note about the backward class, which is a generic term adopted in the Constitution. The generic term also includes scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. It has been further amended with the 85th Constitutional Amendment Act 2001. The amendment shall be deemed to have come into force on 17 June 1995. Article 335 provides that the claims of members of scheduled castes applicable to scheduled tribes also shall be taken into consideration consistently with maintenance of efficiency of administration in making appointments to government services and posts. And other safeguards include under Article 338, which has the provision that the President of India shall appoint a special officer commonly known as Commissioner for Scheduled Caste, wherein the duty of this special officer is to report to the President about the working of all the safeguards. The Constitution has also special provision for the administration and control of scheduled areas. The person belonging to the scheduled caste constitute a sizable portion of our population. Their population is 13.82 crore or 16.73% of total population as per the 1991 census. About 81% of the scheduled caste population live in the rural areas. Uttar Pradesh alone accounts for over 20% of total SC population of India. Other states with substantial population of persons belonging to scheduled caste are West Bengal, Bihar, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. Now the Telangana as well. The Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment is a nodal ministry that oversees the interests of scheduled caste. The ministry monitors the actions taken by state government, union territories and other central ministries for protection and promotion of the interest of scheduled caste, besides implementing programs for supplementing the efforts for educational, economic and social empowerment of scheduled caste. The Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment implements the schemes for the development of scheduled caste under various aspects, and the first one is educational development. The scheme of post-matric scholarship, that is PMS, for SC students, the largest educational scholarship scheme of its kind in the country to promote higher education among scheduled caste. Other schemes are pre-matric scholarship for children of those in unclean occupation, hostels for SC boys and girls, book bank, upgradation of merit, economic development. National Scheduled Caste Finance and Development Corporation, that is NSFDC, National Safai Karmachari Finance and Development Corporation, that is NSKFDC, and state scheduled caste development corporations are playing a key role at national and state levels respectively for economic development of persons belonging to the scheduled caste. Next is the protective measures. Protection of Civil Rights Act 1955 and Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes, Prevention of Atrocity Act 1989 are the legislative enactments for abolishing the practice of untouchability and preventing the incidence of atrocities against scheduled caste. Fourth, it is voluntary organizations. Voluntary organizations have proved effective agents of social change and development by virtue of their direct linkage with the target groups in the implementation of educational schemes, vocational training and awareness generation. Fifth one is the special mechanism of special component plan and special central assistance for scheduled caste. It was introduced in 1979-80 and it is the most effective instrument to ensure an equitable share of resources for the overall development of scheduled caste. Dr. Ambedkar National Scholarship for meritorious students belonging to scheduled caste, scheduled tribe has been initiated from the year 2002-2003 with the objective of recognizing, promoting and assisting meritorious students belonging to weaker sections for pursuing higher studies. The number of awards is 208. In addition to this, 250 special scholarships will be awarded in proportion to the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes population in states, union territories, education of scheduled caste. Since independence, the Government of India has taken a number of steps to strengthen the educational base of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. And now we will discuss about the national policy on education for scheduled caste. From the allotted budgets of the departments and elementary education and illiteracy and secondary and higher education, 16.33% are allotted under this special component plan pursuant to the National Policy on Education. The following special provisions for SCs have been incorporated in the existing schemes of both the departments. First one, relaxed norms for opening of primary schools. Second, setting up of a primary school within 1 kilometer walking distance from habitation with population of 200 instead of 300. Third, abolition of tuition fee in all government schools. Fourth, incentives like free textbooks, uniforms, stationery, school bags, etc. to be provided to the students. The major programs of the Department of Education: District Primary Education Program DPEP, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan SSA, Lok Jumbish LJ, Shiksha Karmik SK, Education Guarantee Scheme, and Alternative and Innovative Education and National Program of Nutritional Support to Primary Education accord priority to areas of concentration of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. Reservation of seats in central government, institutions of higher education including IITs, regional engineering colleges, central universities, Kendriya Vidyalayas, Navodaya Vidyalayas. There is also relaxation in the minimum qualifying cutoff stages for admission. Provision for special coaching to improve academic skills and linguistic proficiency. 50 junior fellowships are awarded every year in the fields of science and humanities, including social sciences, to top scheduled caste, scheduled tribes candidates who appear in the national eligibility test and qualify for lecturerships. UGC also provides scheduled caste, scheduled tribe candidates a relaxation of 5% at the master level for appointment as lecturers. Out of 43,000 scholarships at the secondary stage for talented children from rural areas, 13,000 are reserved for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe students. Centrally sponsored scheme of hostels for scheduled caste boys and girls. The main objective of the scheme of hostels for scheduled caste boys and girls is to provide hostel facilities to scheduled caste students studying in middle, high and secondary schools, colleges and universities, for enabling them to pursue their studies in educational centers. Under this scheme, financial assistance is provided to the state government on 50:50 ratio, that is 100% to union territories, matching share basis for the construction of hostels. NGOs are given central assistance for expansion of existing hostels on 45% central share, 45% state share and 10% own contribution. Now we will know about National Scheduled Caste Finance and Development Corporation. The National Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Finance and Development Corporation, that is NSFDC, was set up as a company not for profit under section 25 of the Companies Act 1956 with the objective of financing income generating activities of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes beneficiaries living below double the poverty line limits. Presently rupees 40,000 per annum for rural areas and rupees 55,000 per annum for urban areas. Consequent upon bifurcation, the corporation is serving only scheduled caste beneficiaries from 10th April 2001. The NSFDC has expanded coverage of beneficiaries manifold, mainly due to the induction of microcredit scheme from June 2000. As on 31st December 2002, the NSFDC has sanctioned 3,239 number of schemes costing rupees 1,755.92 crore, out of which sanction share is rupees 1,227 crore for covering 4,14,318 beneficiaries. Further, funds to the tune of rupees 963 crore was dispersed to the state channelizing agencies for the implementation of the schemes. Next one is National Safai Karmachari Finance and Development Corporation, that is NSKFDC, incorporated on 24th January 1997 under section 25 of the Companies Act 1956, was set up by the Government of India to act as an apex institution for all-round socio-economic upliftment of the Safai Karmacharis and their dependents, and to extend concessional financial assistance to the beneficiaries for the establishment of income generating and viable projects. The authorized share capital of the company is rupees 200 crore. The contribution made by the Government of India towards the equity is rupees 96.76 crore up to December 2002. The target groups of the corporations are scavengers, that is, persons wholly or partially employed for manual handling of human excreta and their dependents, and Safai Karmacharis, that is, persons engaged in or employed for any sanitation work and their dependents. The NSK-FDC provides loans to the target group through state channelizing agencies, that is SCAs, so nominated by the state governments under the scheme of term loan and microcredit finance. The states guarantee the repayment of the loans extended to SCA. Now, what is National Scheme of Liberation and Rehabilitation of Scavengers and their Dependents, that is NSLRS. The scheme was launched in 1991-92 with the objective of providing financial assistance to scavengers in handling night soil and filth manually for their training and rehabilitation in alternative occupations. Under the scheme, assistance is provided for training in the institutes run by the government, local bodies and NGOs as per TRISOM norms. The training is given for a maximum duration of 6 months. Stipend of rupees 200 to rupees 500 is provided depending upon the training institute. Cost of raw material allowance for toolkit etc. are covered under the scheme. Apart from assistance for training, the scavengers are assisted for taking up alternative projects costing up to rupees 50,000. This is funded through 50% subsidy subject to a ceiling of rupees 10,000. 15% of project as margin money loan, which is shared between the central government and state government, is the ratio of 49:51 and rest is provided as loan. The entire subsidy is provided by the Government of India as 100% grant. The margin money is provided by the Scheduled Caste Development Corporation at a concessional rate of interest of 4%. Banks provide the loan component under their priority sector lending. The NSK-FDC is also now providing loans. The scheme is implemented by the respective states SEDs. Now, we will understand about the National Commission for Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes. The Statutory National Commission for Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes has been set up under the 65th Constitutional Amendment on 12th March 1992 under Article 338 of the Constitution as a high-level independent constitutional body to monitor the safeguards provided for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes and also to review issues concerning their welfare. As per clause 5 of Article 338 of the Constitution of India, the Commission has wide-ranging powers to protect, safeguards and promote the interest of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. Under clause 8 of the said article, the Commission has been conferred the powers of a civil court for trying a suit to summon and enforce the attendance of any person from any part of India, examining on oath, receiving evidence on affidavits along with a memorandum explaining the action taken or proposed to be taken on the recommendations of the committees are to be laid before each house of the Parliament. The Commission undertakes extensive tours of states and union territories and evaluates the implementation of development programs for scheduled caste, protective legislation, reservation policies, etc. They also review the action taken by several PSUs, financial institutions, universities and other public funded institutions on matters of relating to the welfare of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Now, we discuss about the National Commission for Safai Karmacharis. The National Commission for Safai Karmacharis was first constituted on 12th August 1994 under the provision of National Commission for Safai Karmachari Act 1993 to promote and safeguard the interest and rights of Safai Karmacharis. The National Commission has been empowered to investigate specific grievance and matters relating to implementation of programs and schemes for the welfare of Safai Karmacharis. The Commission is required to be consulted on all major policy matters affecting Safai Karmacharis. The Commission holds quarterly meetings with central ministries and discusses issues concerning the welfare of Safai Karmacharis. To summarize, the deep concerns of the framers of the Constitution for the upliftment of the scheduled caste is reflected in the elaborate constitutional safeguards set up for their upliftment. The Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment is the nodal ministry to oversee the interest of scheduled caste. The NSFDC is an institution under the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment of India for financing, facilitating and mobilizing funds for the economic empowerment of persons belonging to scheduled caste families living below the poverty line. The National Safai Karmachari Finance and Development Corporation has been also set up by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India, which acts as an apex institution for all-round socio-economic upliftment of Safai Karmacharis and their dependents and extend to concessional financial assistance to the beneficiaries for the establishment of income-generating and viable projects. Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocity Act 1989 is an act to prevent the commission of offences of atrocities against the members of the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes, to provide for special court for the trial of such offences and for the rehabilitation of the victims of such offences and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto.